And before I get started, I just want to double check real quick here. Pardon me. I want to make sure that. Hold on. Perfect. Just wanted to double check that. Pardon me, people. And thank you very much, Millie. That was awesome. Man, you looked great. If I read into that wrong, I apologize. We'll have to straighten that out. Did you see that little boy? Gigi got his hair all done up and got uh, got him sent to school. So I got to go pick him up. Stop at the bank. They got my post office box or my post office box, my safety deposit box. They're still charging me after all these years. When I was in prison, a matter of fact, my ex-wife had me fill out a piece of paper so they could release the debt that was. Matter of fact, I told her today. I said, "Listen, I don't know why you guys are calling me about that safety deposit box. I uh, I have released myself of that interest years ago and explained it to her. And she says, well, I'm not the branch that issued it. And I apologize. I just noticed here because she called and let me know that my funds were free and that I had to sign for my new account because while I was absent, there was only so much in it. And then they only keep it open so long with so little in it. And the lady did me a favor and said, listen, let's call him. And so they kept it open, so I got to run down, get that taken care of, drop off that safety deposit key, which I've had for 12 years because it was closed out and I paid for the relocking fee, or so I thought. Complete crazy story, but such is life. And so anyway, oh yeah, thank you. Absolutely. Thank you, Lord, for sending me a few funds and I can get them truck tires, brakes, get my cousin moved safely. And yeah, it's been a quite a morning. I'm really thankful that I got that my ex got my grandson off to daycare, even though it was a little late. It gives me time to do a few things around here I need to do, and then make this video because I wanted to get at least an hour or so, and I wanted to like I said, ultimately cut these down to an hour, but I didn't realize that Twitch, they get rid of the videos are limited on their time span on how long they stay up. So I'm uh, kind of at a on a timeline. I want to get through this and just get to the next chapter. So, uh, yeah. So I'm gonna make this. I want to brush up on the fella that I met when I got off the bus with all that smoke. You are not gonna believe. Well, some of you might, but well, those of us that know might. It might not surprise you at all. Where that fella lives. Remember, in the last few segments, I believe I brushed over it. Uh, but like I said before I get started, uh, yeah, I want to thank you, John. Thank you so much. I have to go back and watch your video of this morning's cutting edge. I believe it is. Now you see TV, and then also Mr. L, because I get, like I said, I get bits and pieces while I'm doing. Pardon me. What I do, just doing the do, staying busy, and so yeah. So yeah, if I read that wrong, I apologize. I was getting ready to do this video, and the strangest thing happened. Um, started hearing that song and play, and I thought the internet was it's happened before where it would just start playing. I've been laying on the floor and it would just start rolling. I was in the bathroom and I thought that that's what had happened, and it was actually a commercial on a program that my daughter was watching on the TV in the living room. So completely I was surprised about that. So I had to hurry up and make this phone call that I was on short so I could get this rolling. But yeah, right in the middle of Millie's and also Tori's chat, I get the call from the bank that I thought I had already squashed that deal with the safety deposit box a long time ago, and apparently the enemy is pretty dang crafty. Of course, we know it gets around and is always down. So, but I explained it to the girl that is at Natalie that's at my branch, and she wasn't even aware of it. She's just relaying a message that came from the branch in Auburn, where coincidentally I've been getting these real odd messages, and I closed that out. I thought a long time ago. Matter of fact, I believe I even paid for the rekeying fee, because right here is the key that I didn't return after I closed that out a long time ago, because I kind of liked the way it looked and it went good with all my other keys that I collected along the way, and so I'd paid for it, so I might as well keep it. I was using the money to keep my I mean using the money. I was using the deal to keep some snapper doodles, some money, when I was going to and fro with all that loot. I had to be careful because I knew there were scoundrels. They're everywhere. But yeah, if I read into that wrong, like I said, Millie, I apologize. And I just have to, I have to assume, when all this is going. But you look, wow, whew, oh my goodness. Of course, you should already know that. And then that song, like I said, it just started playing, and I thought it was. I was like, well, I know I shut my computer off because I got to get ready to go to the bank. I gotta sign. My money's freed up. Thank the good Lord on that. Sign for my new account, which the girl, thank God, held because she's seen that I'd had it for so long. Give me an opportunity to sign for that so they don't close it out, and then I'll get those truck tires put on and brakes so I can stop this old train when I need to. So yeah, that song Crash just started playing. I thought it was on my computer last night. There was a light. I thought it was the overhead projector. I was like, I know I shut that off because that's got a remote. And when this is down, anyway, I shut this down. So I know there's no way that that could go on through there, and it did. It was pretty cool actually. There was two of them. So I thought it was playing through here, that song, and it was on my daughter's on the program my daughter's watching out in the living room. Uh, it was just a commercial, and it was just a snippet of that Crash song. So I thought, well, and the Lord said, yeah. So you need to just do as I ask, and because I had this peaceful feeling when I was writing that, even though I was like, oh well, I thought I was receiving that correctly the first time, and then like I said, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. All this going on. Sometimes I wish that people could just get a little taste of what, when you know stuff, and oh, man, and the more faith I exercise, the more he's letting me know. And I so love our Heavenly Father, because if He would have given me even just a portion of this, yeah, I wouldn't have made it. So that peaceful, easy joy just washed over me, and I didn't get too hasty or anxious, because that's what the enemy wants. And I felt my heart just started just racing like crazy when I was in there, and then that song started playing. Uh, yeah. So again, um, like I said, we if I read that wrong, I apologize. I wasn't trying to cause and that pain. Like I said, I actually feel it, that, and that's why the Lord is using us, because um, that's what it takes to love His children the way they deserve to be loved. Like that, they have to be felt, to be experienced, so that they can truly become the that reflection that love is so desperately seeking for none to perish. None. If you only knew, people, the pain, it just can break one's heart. So much suffering. And my daughter, when it's time for me to go, because I got to go get my little boy from daycare, Gigi is my ex got his hair all braided up. I don't. That's all. None of that stage. That's all stuff they do on their own. They don't even. They don't even. They don't. They're not involved in half of what's. And he says, "Oh, Papa, let me look before I post it. He's got to make sure it's okay. You know, he's got to make sure his hair is just. Oh, and he's a he makes me look silly when it comes to being a little fanatic about certain things. But I'm definitely not his brother's. Not as finicky as my brother Shotgun Shane. Oh God, he primps himself. God, I love that young man so much. He primps himself in the mirror like Fred's son. Fred, my daddy, my daddy's boy. He used to rock. He still does. He used to rock. I thought, man, that's some kind of abuse twitch. I heard it said. I says, oh no, that little boy was doing that in his rocking chair when we had his first birthday. Of course, his our dad, he passed. He got killed just down the road. Before he was 4 or 5 months old. He was just a little baby, and he and his on his first birthday, we gave him that whole cake, a little birthday candle, and boy, we had two of them, so we ate one and we let him just tear the other one up, and he would rock in his and until it would crash down and laugh and laugh. Him and Ron both. Pardon me. Whew. Had to had to send one, catapult one across. Normally, I do the old shirt deal when I'm around. I always do. I have for years. Even when I hold my sneeze, I do. Unless I'm out in the woods, which I like to be. God, I love that shirt too. Man, Millie, you're so beautiful, smart, and wow, you're just amazing. Yeah, if I read that wrong, I apologize. But um, and I know you might be saying, well, you should know. Either way, but it's not always like that. That's why, and the Lord makes it that way, so that you have to step out. You're gonna have to, because and I'll just have to, like I said, if and I'll still, if you'll let me, I'll come that way, you know. But again, I'm not entertaining that at all. I just have to keep that in the back of my mind, so that my flesh doesn't. But I've come so far. Thank the good Lord. I got to thank Him for you, for Gavin, all of you, Tori, everybody. Oh, what a blessing! What a blessing! And oh, that old grease ball, not to get off because I don't want to be. He knows he's had an op. We have, all of us have had opportunities. We all know. We've all, I'd never stoop down that low. I was not cut from that kind of linen at all. No, 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 no. We're different, different, different altogether. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. And you'll know. You'll know. But wow. Absolutely. And then they tried to mess with me like somebody was, and I know they were too, but who cares? I mean, I care and they're going to get it. Oh, believe me, they're going to end up, that shit's going to get ripped right off. And their wiener's going to get fed to them. Nasty little bastards. They are too. They're just nasty little, cruel little, and they are cruel. And they're not mocking me or God or anybody. They're mocking their own children. And it's really sad. It's, oh man, God, it's so sad. Man, they don't even see it. They don't even see it. A lot of them, they laugh. Some of them aren't. They're not. They're pulling out like, I want to talk about an old wiener schnitzel. It's, it's not. Oh, oh yeah, got it. It's hard to back out of one of them. Got to keep them separated. Who comes up with stuff like that? Really? Who does? And you're right, Tori. Scars. Yes. Scars all over. It's amazing that I haven't broke one bone. It's only by the grace of him. Only. Because it would be one I'd be one messed up little pincushion, I'll tell you that. I'm feeling, oh, and your guys' prayers? Thank you. My back has been feeling so much better. Your guys' prayers are awesome. Just the stuff and you'll always be blessed. It doesn't matter what you decide with, for my birthday. Hopefully before then. Hopefully now you're saying, well, now you've read that completely wrong or right and just keep rolling with it. But you have to smile and have joy and truly have peace in your heart either way, knowing don't be panic stricken. It's not all gonna be either way. The man with the upper hand, you're good. I'm not trying to weasel out of nothing or any of that stuff. No, my brother, he's the ferret. He's the mongoose. But he's a good kid too. Oh, he is. He would never hurt. He would never hurt any. Of course, I'll tell you this though: he's not too nice to girls. He doesn't beat them up or nothing. No, that's not it. He's just doesn't give a shit what they. He don't care. He'll just tell. He don't care. He's like no. What? When he goes in somewhere, if he does, he don't. He's like, well, no, you buy me a drink. He don't. He doesn't. You don't care. It's a two-way street with him on that situation. In some ways, I don't blame him. It's the old Sotomayor. It's the old Sotomayor shuffle. The old Tommy. They don't like Tommy. They don't like Tommy at all. And I haven't watched him in a long time because he gets off there. But he's got my blessing in a lot of areas. It's just it's hard for me to. You guys see what I support. I don't. I just got off the phone with Elizabeth. That song, and because I wanted to make sure she let me know she got down there safe. She's been busy and stuff, and my phone started ringing. God is my judge and witness. Of course, I'm not. You're not going to hear me say that too much, but you can forfeit my reservation of heaven. I don't play games like that, and I don't. Honestly, I know better. Oh no, I know what I'm fixing to. What my ticket's punched. Well, I'll hop on that Titanic any day. I can bail water a lot faster. You see, because I love you, I love our Heavenly Father, you, myself, and everybody, all as one big kit and caboodle. Give me a break. Way more than it's trying to sink this ship. Believe that one. So yeah, I don't. So I had to say, huh? Now that's ringing. And the Lord said, oh, don't you even, because you already know. And I went, okay, well, it works just like that. And the reason why is because and he goes, now, Einstein, go ahead and think why. And I said, yeah, but, and he goes, but nothing. You need to think back why that's happening. And I said, oh, okay. And he goes, yeah, don't you go reaching into that one, because that's you're going to end up getting your hand slapped in that old that's going to be a beehive that you're not going to want to put your hand. No, you don't want to throw apples at her because she'll sting you, especially if you haven't got full confirmation yet. You better. And then that song started playing. I went, oh, I see. I said, can I call you back? I said, I got to get something rolling, because I had to get this. I was going to wait till a little bit later. And I thought, well, I better probably run this now, because my heart almost, I knew it. I knew what you was going through. And I went, I'm not going to let you go through any second of that. You see, that's how you know. That's for real, man. That's real love right there. When he knows exactly what you're going through and don't want you going through that shit no more. That's the fourth time I think I cussed. I'm cleaning it up, John. Mr. Hall, I am. Thank you, Mrs. Hall. Thank you so much, Patricia, for taking care of him. And it's those wives and that board, that white board. Oh, you picked that one up too? Yeah, little pitter patter there, sweetheart. You picked that one up too. I thought, oh, you guys are skillful. Oh, so skillful. And so you might be thinking right now, and maybe not, maybe it'll catch up with you here in a minute, sweetheart. It'll hit you like a 2 ton. I'm just having so much fun. A 2 ton, heavy something. That old, that white, but you probably already said, damn it. I've been on that one. Gargoyle! But then again, I don't know. I might have read that just fine. Because either way, I want to get one of those little gadgets. I want one of them. Because as far as I know, I think your husband is a tech person, and I could use one of them, because I'm not a tech savvy kind of guy. And here's the thing, I've got these flash drives with me poems in it. I'm a toothbrush and a comb. If I'm a good dog, they sometimes throw me a bony. Um, I need to be able to store some stuff, and I'm working on getting to these bigger platforms. But as you know, sometimes it's a challenge. You know how long I've been promised to have somebody come and put a firewall in this router. I called it a server, didn't I? A long time ago. Back then, even, isn't that something? Tawana's nephew, his grandfather's the one that sold the bee deal I was trying to get a hold of, but there's no bees, or it's hard to. It'd be a challenge right there. He started working for Pep Boys, or not Pep Boys, Geek Squad, and he was supposed to come help me, because there was doing some weird stuff that I wasn't. I was like, this is should this be happening? And my son's like, no, not really. So, but he was already for work. He was, and I couldn't burden everybody. I still hadn't turned myself over to the dragon yet. So I had all these different things, and the whole time the enemy was tripping. Oh, and there's some stuff that was going on too that I don't even want to talk about right now, because I'm only limited on. I'm at 24 minutes right now, and I want to kind of brush up on this. When I got off the bus, wow, the sun's coming out beautiful. And yet, if you've been following the segments, I am some what of the sun worshiper. Do you know those plants at night, the sun giving off her own light, they take on their own. They actually, because at night usually they'll go to sleep. They're at least the marijuana will. They'll sleep. You can see them. They droop down. They're beautiful. And then in the morning, you can see them rise, and like the Romans, and just like that. And then, but in the full moons and stuff, they do the same thing. They do the same thing. They're growing. You can see them. They're moving. So, and I brought that up because I was just going over in my head about the guy that I met when I got off the bus before Roy and Vicky came down and got me, heading right to the old roadhouse. But before I do, like I said, yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff happened on my computer. A lot of stuff I didn't know. I had no clue. So I would have had this long. They've been trying to trip up this little journey, this story here for a while. Because, like I said, it would be a class action issue. But not only that, it's even more than that. It's a eternal soul winning issue. It goes way. I thought it. What I just said, I thought it was that way. It's really not that way at all. It's much. Pardon me. I'm going to fix this a little bit. It's much more eternal than that, and more finite from infinite. And it don't like that. It don't like that at all. No, 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 no. So, but yeah. So that's why I don't worry. That's why I don't worry. It's not that I don't, it's not that I'm heartless or anything like that, or got somebody on the I got to take my daughter shopping later too. You see, you read into stuff. When your heart's in the right spot, you don't play games like that, and but you don't know that because we've never spoke. If, like I said, I read that completely wrong, but the heart attack I about had in the bathroom there getting ready just pretty much said the whole thing. Although now it's subsided quite a little bit, so that's also another indication too. Like I said, I just gotta. The 20th is coming up, and it's not an ultimatum. I'm just on a time. I just got to do what I got to do. Also, and I don't go looking. It just stuff just starts happening, and I got to beat it off with the stick. And I'm not trying to be arrogant as my judge and witness. I'm not going to say forfeit my reservation. I said that I'm going to try not to do that anymore because that's really the blotting out that one does not ever want. And that's why that John 3:16, that beloved John 3:16, we love so much, and that once saved, it's so deadly. It really is. It can be. If you read into stuff and you're sitting right in and with and around Christ, there's nothing you have to fear. Absolutely nothing. So don't. That's a lie. Like I said, from the pits of hell, do not. And that guilt stuff, don't get caught up in that. Don't do that. That's why I'm able to. Remember, Trey said it. He goes, if I don't act like it's because I'm not. It's because he says he's seen it before, and he's obviously seen some. You know, I don't even know because I don't. We've talked a little bit, but not really. I don't really think I've came out and said this to him. But Big Jim has prophesied some stuff, and I told you I believe he's a prophet, but he's been wrong. He's been wrong. He said something about what was it? Something about. Anyway, I can't share all that with you because when he calls again. Matter of fact, he hasn't called for a while. You notice because they went and they reviewed those. See, we got under the fence. We got under the fence like Supertramp. We got under the fence on Sunday. Sunday. See that right there, Sun God Ra. Imagine that. You can't make that stuff up. But yeah, he's been wrong on a lot of stuff, and it crushed him. And he's been right on a lot of stuff too. He needs to know that's because he reaches, just like John said. He starts looking and start looking for stuff, and because your heart's in the right place, but you start looking and looking and looking and searching for stuff that you're not ready to receive yet. And that can, like I said, you can get to be like a weeble wobble, and you're not going to be able to process, nor be like throwing. The Lord gave me this illustration a long time ago, and I love to use it. I haven't for a while. It's like throwing a baby a steak and expecting them to chew it, and then just, not only that, digest it and all that happy stuff. So it's milk, vegetables, and that's why I use that analogy, because I'd read that before. And even when I stopped eating meat for a while, except the stuff that I was raising myself because I couldn't trust. And we're on God's way here. We're on God's way. I just wanted to back up just a little bit because that dude that I met, remember I told you about Paul Post and that house of that lady that died and nobody on the block wanted to move there, but it would have been moving, it would have been trading up in the world of the Paul Post in his little harem there of, because he owned a lot of stuff. Matter of fact, his daughter, if he passed away, which he's probably gonna outlive all of us, he was I think 80 something when he retired. Like I said, he was one of the ones, if I understand it correctly, came up with creosote. And you can see his handiwork everywhere. Like I said, he'd use the mortar that tore up street. The city would tear up the street, and he'd go around and pick it up. He'd start building retaining walls and stuff. You can see his handiwork all over Hilltop. He got a bad rap. That guy, I love that dude. He was such a good man. He worked his butt off, man. That's all he did is work his butt off. That's why I didn't mind paying the extra. That's why he went to bat for me before, but he didn't even have to do that. I liked him anyway because I knew his heart. He just got a bad rap, real bad rap. He worked. So if he passed away, his daughter, because she's been trying to sell his stuff off for a long time. He started buying them houses about the same time Martin did on Hilltop when that big crack, when all that coke started flooding in. Anyway, so yeah, that house is where I met the dude that I gave my number to. I sold him, I think, an quarter pound. I think lady ended up being a snitch. It was for some. It was for she tried she tried setting me up and everything. Of course, Lord just steps in and does what He does. And I didn't even know, because Lord said you would have just been all you would have taken it for granted, and I was like, yeah, you know what, you're right. And he goes, well, of course I'm right. What do you mean? I'm probably right. Don't you love our Heavenly Father? He's got a sense of humor. Oh, I love his occasional slaps and jabs and whatnots. We used to call him my nuts. Yep. So, yeah. No, because that ship sailed a long time ago with her and I, sweetheart. Long time ago. I already know the Lord made it clear to me what I said. Well, I want to know. He's like, well, believe me, she's not going to be your age. I'll tell you that right now. So don't, but I know you're not arrogant and self righteous. So that's what I can let you at least know that. And I went, well, thank you, Father. That's great. He goes, well, yeah. See, you can have a little and eat it and have that too. And I said, wow, right on. Can you maybe tell me a little bit more? And he goes, well, I thought that's what I've been doing. But and I said, okay, well, I'll just pay attention. And like I said, I've never ever celebrated my birthday. I don't even have to go out to celebrate my birthday. When you just know something, when you just know, at least back when I was just back at Sherman Brisky, I would have at least I wouldn't have gave it all the stuff away. If I was just a little damaged, I would have doled it out to him. I would have somehow used that candy to my advantage. I know it's wrong, but me and Bob Moose and Dave, his brother, they used to take us hiking up that mountain. I went and looked at it from the Google aerial, and it's still so beautiful. I thought those were onions down there I thought that was a garden. I think I said that on my segment. But as I'm watching, and I should know this as much as I've been outside, when I'm watching Kitchens and Fowler, those are just wild onions. That's all they are. That's all they ever were. Ever will be. Ooh, restored to her original dominion. Because I was like, oh, when I was a little boy, we used to sled right down there, and I was like, oh, maybe there's a. So I would weed around there. I thought I was doing that little garden. I pretend in my own mind I was like that little bird, just fly, fly away. I was in my own little farmland, in my own little world, It was a ways away from the house, and there was a lot of love in that house and stuff, but there was a lot of trauma there too. That Mitch and Mike, remember I told you about Mitch and Mike? They ended up getting thrown to the wolves like a little cat, like little feral cats down there in Wenatchee and Park Bench. And I ended up visiting. The family liked me enough. They invited me. I ended up, before I got thrown to the wolves myself, I ended up getting invited to their. They were in an apartment. They went from that beautiful house to, so something that creep. He finally got busted for what he was doing. Something. Though Lonnie being sicko, just sick people just sick. How could you even be aroused? That's some weird, man. That's some weird stuff. People are just weird. They're creepy. And the Lord says, "Yeah, son, it's sin." I'm like, "Well, thank God, you Father, that I don't have that sick twistedness, because that's just putrefied wee." So anyway, now that I've 36.9, yeah, there it was, 2666. Oh, and by the way, when those numbers don't, we who do you think created numbers? Well, we just whatever. 13, it don't matter what it is. It ain't got nothing on this. So don't worry about that. We own everything, all of it, except it's dirty ass laundry. Okay, it's going down with it. Where it's going to sit and wash it. It. So don't worry about that. Don't worry. You want to talk a little Don Henley dirty laundry? I never cared for the Eagles, but I like old Don. I love Don. He's very talented, and Boys of Summer, just Sunset Grill, just brings me back to a time and place. It's what got me through a lot of stuff. Is this music? It's what gets us through. We're created with musical minds, and same with Lucifer. He fell. He was a. They say he was a. But it's different. It's different. It's a different. You'll know it when you know that it's it's not very beautiful, people. Put it that way, okay? So, pun intended. My daughter will come in here when I have to go get the little boy. But yeah, all that stuff, that's not all staged. That's all this little black and white stuff. That's all. I see that stuff too. I see that as the first stuff that comes up now, and I see my history and my favorite stuff. I see that it comes up, but that's not what I'm talking about. My phone and how this it works is differently. Like I've had, and I'll just tell you, I had to do those short chat bursts because I didn't never did have anybody come and put anything on my computer, help me protect my computer, protect what was going on. They were, I told you, but we used to. They don't do that stuff no more. I mean, they just flat out, they already know. They stopped trying to. Now they send that stupid stuff. That's why I screenshot that. So many the other night. They stopped doing it just last night so much, but the other night it was like 30 within no time at all. Trying to keep me up with I'm not brainwashed with that ring. I don't care. I don't get all fuzzy when I hear that. I don't, because I don't care about none of this stuff. I'm not subject to this world. I already know we own everything natural. It's all in just a twinkling of an eye and a breath, and it's all back just the way we see what the residual of what's. There's still enough to we can go, thank you, Father. I mean, that's what all I do. I just thank God, thank you, Lord. That's all I do. Even when I heard you saying husband and this and that, and what, I still had to say thank you, Father, because see, he has my best interest at heart. And my heart, you want to find a person's treasure, their heart, look for their treasure. I always get that one a little, it's the gist of it. Just be yourself. And but it's a feeling that, like, it's like your flesh wouldn't be able to normally, not in this carnal day and age. It would be, if somebody, if I read that wrong, or even right, you see what I mean? After everything that I've been through, honestly, Millie, it would literally drive a person just absolutely mad, just mad. And I have nothing but love and peace for you, Gavin. All I understand. I knew that a long time ago. I knew something told me the Lord said, "Oh, he knows the computer stuff. He's." And I said, "Well, thank you, Lord. Well, thank you." And he's like, "Well, yeah, that's what I do. I aim to please." And so, because you're in a position to be able to receive that, instead of going, "I'm not gonna," because there's things established here, even whether it's you completely, there's things that are happening, dynamic things that are going to be revealed. So we just have to just believe and have faith and just go with it. Whether, like I said, whether I am, get what my heart desires or not. I can't, it's not, love is, that free will is flowing. So it's good. You can see it, in my eyes, you can tell, you can hear it, you'll know. So that's how that works. Because I trust God, I trust Him, and I just like I trust Him, I like it's so in tune with Him that it's, when He's, it's yeah, your hair, you just, phew, man, you are just people are like, they were, and I didn't sit and I didn't watch too much. I have had stuff to do also, but I was like, man, I gotta change my plans here for a minute. And then I didn't even know the little boy was going to daycare. She took him late. So it all worked out pretty good. And then I was like, wow, man, whew, and that was awesome too. And I thought I picked up that right with those two, that thing over those two, the little, I think those are, what were those? Those were, those two in the forest there. I could be wrong, because like I said, it's getting, and sometimes I just go, because I get a little testy sometimes when I'm being tested. I don't like that. I don't. I mean, think about it. If you just could, for like I said, I haven't quite got to the point where I've prayed yet and said, "Please, Father." Although I have prayed and said, "Please, just hone their skills to say, please, just let them," because I wouldn't want you to have to feel that kind of. Because I do. I feel it, people, and it's a daily struggle, but it's so well worth it. I just have nothing but joy in my heart. I don't get tripped up. That alcohol doesn't get me up. I don't let sex get me. But oh, believe me, whew, when I tell you, I'm just like any other, 29-year-old healthy male tiger uh, with a lion's tail. I'll never. Hey, I'll do anything for love. Really, I will, but I won't do that. I'm not. I won't be puffing no tiger tails. So anyway, so yeah, so I delivered an ounce or a quarter pound. Well, before, let me go back just a little bit. Remember when I got off the train, I was doing all that coke like an idiot. Come back on the train, met Depeche Mode or Love and Rockets, one of the two. On the train, heading to Clarksville, and I ended up on the hilltop partying after I got to my mom's house. I wasn't there like maybe a week, because I didn't stay there very long. I never had. I was always there just for a short amount of time, and it was time then to check out. You can check out any time you like, but you can never leave. I was gonna play that earlier, and it keeps popping up, and I go, no, no, and I'm serious. It keeps popping up, and I just keep. Um. So I wake up, get up. In this, I'm hungover. I'm a little coked out, and I vaguely remember, and I'm on this couch, and I'm in this couple, this husband and wife, and then their roommate. I remember I met him at a tavern, and we started coking out, and I woke up, and it was I didn't know I was on Hilltop. I had no idea. I hadn't even ever in my life at that point, not that I was aware, even where I was, ever been on Hilltop. Um, So I wake up, and I wouldn't have known this until I went and dropped this off. The guy called me, and I got his address, and I went up, and I went, wow, I went right past Stadium Thriftway. I went, oh, this is getting this is getting crazy here. This is My brother used to deliver there when he was Consolidated Freights, Associated Grocers, and I'm passing because he's having me take this, and I'm like, I've been here before. I'm like, what's up? And then I go right on down, and I pulled up in front of them, and I went, oh my goodness, right on that roundabout, right there down the road from Scheibe's. It was one of Paul's houses. I didn't know that though. I went up, and it's a duplex. It's actually a one old school house, good size house. Two, three, six original bedrooms, I believe. And the top, I believe, at this time when I was delivering this was being used. They cut it in half. Paul did. That's what a lot of people were doing. They were, to get as much as they can out of the real estate. And when I was delivering this, I believe that was still running. I'm telling you this for good reason, because when I get to that, uh, well, I'll just tell you. But so I deliver this stuff to this guy, and I'm like, oh my goodness! I said, I've been here before. I'm thinking, I'm not saying to him because he's already a little nervous, and I'm in on the hilltop, and know a lot of people, and not really, actually, a matter of fact, I got right up there. Somebody else was driving. I'd had a beer or two. I was getting a little cocky. That's what it was. Because I told him, I said, listen, I could have in no time. I got lippy, is what I did. And he says, look, I don't need no trouble. And I says, well, I'm not going to sit around and wait. You either have her come. And what it was, they were setting me up. You see, now he wasn't. He wasn't, but she was, and he had bought weed from her. She'd come over from Gig Harbor. Of course, there was no toll to pay there. I know you guys probably didn't like that little mud on the license plate deal, but hey, that's a crime right there. There also, the I tied up that rebar, doing them hangers, those T hangers, the columns for those T hangers. That's how I know that rebar doesn't. So I'm like, wow, this is. So I started getting a little. She comes. We do our little deal, and and then I'll just fast forward real quick. That'll just be a spoiler alert. When I end up moving, years later, up to uh, Washington, my daughter ends up going to Stadium High School, extremely rough high school. Um, and we end up moving into that house. That was one of Paul's house. That's where that lady died. We went to one of his smaller ones down on the same road. When I found out he owned that, I went, "You're kidding me? That's his house?" And it just blew me away. Now that's a three times I've been in that house. And what creeped out to all the neighbors is because they all, not all of them, but because Paul owned all of them. There was a smoked oysters, which I don't eat anymore, but my mouth salivates thinking about them. I was eating them, and they're like, "How can you do that?" I'm like, "Well, she's, they were what they were insinuating. They were all carrying on. Well, she was dead. She had died. She was only in there a couple of days. It was canned food. The lady was dead. I'm not into that superstition stuff. It don't bother me. Boy, those things cracked open just fine. That's where that video of me, because it was free electricity. I put my grow operation up there. I was running that 3,000 watt. That's right. And it was still up there. Oh, they're gonna love this one. It was just getting to be legal. I had to transfer my prescription up there, and my candy company. She had already. I'd let it happen. It wasn't her fault. I was just so broken that I couldn't kick her ass to the curb. So, but I know that now. Now I'm not playing. I don't. I wouldn't. You got to be kidding me. If I, no, I'm not even. I've only got so I've only been given 120 years, and I'm trying to wring out as much as this last half as I possibly can. So, and the Lord has blessed me handsomely in many different ways. So I'm just going with it. I'm going with it, and it's all good. So yeah, there that is right there. She couldn't get me. The lady tried. I found out later. Not I just found out through a little birdie told me, and of course that happened a lot when I was moving that kind of weight up and down the deal. But I had no problem with. Here's the thing. My hat goes off to all you uh, staters there, you bulls there in Oregon. Thank you so much. You guys just what you do is you just do your job. You just do your job. I have been in a pickle so many times with so much weed in my vehicle, and them people helped me and left my car on the side with the had to take the tire up in the middle of nowhere, buy a place that was way too expensive. Had to have some guy, bless his heart, take us way somewhere to get a tire. Wait for her sister to drive all the way down to take us to the car, and it was all just. And you know what? It just I've never had, even when I was younger. Remember I told you about the time me and Tawana were heading back from we ran out of gas. They went and brought us gas. And this is after this guy just broke his son out of a juvenile place. And I had slipped in that poop, of course, that septic deal. God, I could have got a lot out of that one too, but I had some ding dong for an attorney, and I didn't go to the hospital because I'm a tough guy, and I should have too because I rung my bell pretty good. I slid in that crap and slammed my head on the because I wasn't paying attention. I was just going, just I got to, and I was finally got to a bird bath, and I was so happy. Got all cleaned up, went and stepped off that deal like I knew what I was doing, man, and shoo, bam. Oh man, I thought it was like I said, I thought it was cow crap. I thought it was horse crap, but it was a big old pound that just started bubbling up out of her septic tank. Crazy, man. You couldn't crap this stuff up, man. If you were on a gold standard, you just couldn't. This stuff just you wouldn't want to have to sort through that. Well, she had that. Just she had it like, oh, here she brought me her. She owned a restaurant next door. She was feeding me and stuff, and gosh, should have just went to the hospital. Not to burn her or nothing, but I've so many times I've myself this close. I should have I've because I didn't, you know, I didn't deserve it. But it's all right. It's all coming around, Lord said, oh, and that's why I'm using you, son, because I know all about it. I know all about it, and it's done doing that to you. It's over now. It's all over. So now there's a new sheriff in town, you sucker. And guess what? Nobody would ever thunk this one. Mm-mm. No. But yeah, so I apologize. If not, then no, I wish you guys the best always. I always pray for you guys, Billy. Always. A hedge of protection, always. And the prayer of Jabez. You look into that. That's a little tiny, big, mighty prayer, that prayer of Jabez. And you claim that, and you invoke that on and over your lives, around your lives, that the Lord would bless you indeed and enlarge your territory and keep you from evil and causing evil. Because pray over your children. You put your hands on them. You pray over them. I know you do already, but you do. You pray over them when they're sleeping, and you put your hands on them. And you pray. You sing out. That's what you do. And I can feel you. I know that's what you do. I know that's good. It's real good. And that's how this whole union solidifies, and you know, that's right. That's what it's all about. So I head back. We're in see, I already told you about hauling that beehive. Of course, we got two pigs also. and two pigs. I had chickens. I was getting a couple roosters, which I think I told you the story about the. Did I tell you the story or no? I was no. I left that on. I left that on Duck Boy's thing about the chicken, the stuff that they told me online. My daughter said, "Dad, there's nothing you can do. You need to kill the chicken." I said, "Well, I already just shot one. I'm not doing it with this one. I had little ones that used to keep the little chicks under its wings and to keep warm, but it couldn't even walk or hobble. It couldn't get around itself. So I thought, wow, how noble! little a little rooster, littlest one would fight the biggest one. Would fight the biggest one. It was looked like it was going to get killed a few times, and I was like, uh, so I ended up putting the big one out of its misery because its eyes started smoking over and something weird. I don't know what was what was going on, but I wasn't gonna have it get to the rest of them. But yeah, this little rooster was kept the little ones. I got more and kept the little ones under it to keep it warm. It couldn't even hobble over to its own deal, so its own food or water. So I had to help it along, and I finally put it in a cage, my rabbit cage, which I ended up killing. I didn't know you weren't supposed to keep. I was trying to keep them warm. I ended up cooking all of them. I didn't know that. See now, Fred, if he would have been around, he would have taught me better. But of course, he would have told me to keep him away from the dogs also. So I put him in the rabbit's cage, which they were just suspended a little off the ground. And I didn't have him that close to the fireplace. I had a it was way far away. But my daughter looked it up and said, "Dad, I should have known, but I didn't know. I should have, but I didn't. Should have looked into it. That's what you do. You don't even take kids down to a lake if you don't know how to swim yourself, unless there's someone there that does." So, uh, that was my bad. So put this chick. I didn't want to kill the chicken. My daughter's like, "Dad, no, it's gonna, and it kept growing. It was like these bumps on its feet. There's a name for it. Kept growing. And I was like, man, I'm not gonna let this chicken die on my watch. I have no roosters. And then put a bullet in the one, and I'm not worried about you fools. You guys can kiss my, you know, not you, sweetheart. Um, it knows. You've already picked it up by now, I'm sure. I don't. They don't bother me at all. They couldn't do anything to me going down there with old DS. They couldn't do any. They can't do anything. They can't anything. So, or because the Lord's protecting, because He knows my heart. I'm not a threat that way. I'm a threat to the it. I'm a threat to it. Called that one too a long time ago. We have a phone book of we could call it called it. We could just call it. Call it. What's the title of it? It's just called it. Oh, it's on vellum. Oh, it's so let's see. So yeah, we got the two pigs, cooked the poor rabbits. Didn't want them to get cold. I didn't know. Won't do that again. And put the rooster in there. And I had to want to go to the dollar store and get some uh, Andy vitamin E and some that fungal stuff, all dollar store stuff. Three different. I told her to get the three, and I told her exactly what she did. Excuse me. Same dollar store I used to go behind with Blindy and get food boxes of good stuff. Of course, the health food store. Jesus, all that box chocolate. Eat it. It's just got a little oxidation. Just kidding. I get off track, but we have fun, because it's good and clean, good and clean fun, just like hunting, sweetheart. That was a kind of your outfit. You're just so gorgeous, and smart. If he is your husband, man, what a lucky man. Gosh, he really is. But we know. All I can do is hope until that deal and day, and then just let her come. I don't go looking for anything like that. It'll happen. But not all is lost yet. So I kept rubbing it on, taking my daughter to hold it. I'd rub it. Oh, and we had another chicken, Rosie. Oh, you're gonna love this one. You're gonna love Rosie. Oh, Rosie, Rosie, Rosie. Oh, and Rooster. And I got one for you about someone named Rooster that I just came last night as I'm laying there. I'm like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. Because like I said, I've known Alice in Chains. I grew up, sporadically and go to concerts and stuff. And the sound man for Queensryche and pretty intimate, pretty amazing, uh, just some neat, real neat, heartfelt, uh, kind of just makes your stomach kind of chase the dog as you're watching the butterflies. So she's not. I thought she was gonna pull the curtain back there, and tell us it's time to go. If I got permission, I would tell you some stuff, but I haven't, and unfortunately, some of them passed away. May they rest in peace, and I pray that they've found Christ as their savior before they did, uh, which very well could be. So, what a beautiful thing. But yeah, so I started rubbing that on the chicken's feet, giving a little massage every day. And after about a week, I noticed I persistently did that. Just and I also I prayed a little bit. I did. I said a few little probably corny prayers. That's what it looked like on its feet. It looked like little pieces of corn. One came off and it went right to his like its bone. I went, oh no no no, stop, don't. Well, maybe we could put. No, it was rapidly just taking over its poor. You could tell it was going to run right, and that's what it said it would do. And with nothing, and even all vets and stuff, nothing you can do. That's what they said. This is what I was. What she's out here. Maybe we didn't go to the right place, but she was online. She all this and that, and that stuff started going away. It started to heal up, and wouldn't fate or just some weird twisted luck, if you believe in it, would have it. I gave that rooster to Donnie's friend, uh, Anthony Lazaro, and his dad and I. We've got to be pretty good friends. He's a clone master down there. Um, their dog killed it, gave it to them, and their dog just killed it right away. So so much for. But my point is that not giving up on that chicken. It helped. It did it. And then Rosie, we had this chicken. Now I'd salvaged this huge Bible. It was the size of that 1937 dictionary that I found: apostasy, Abaddon, Apollyon, all that. Different things. Lord said, look it up. Start looking that up. I'm like, wow, look how big this thing is. It was about that size. It was a Bible. I've never read it, but it was beautiful, beautiful illustrations. And they were giving it away. It was on the side of the road there in Reading. A lot of neat stuff. I would drive around and find stuff, and then I would enjoy it, and then I would sell it. Go to the flea, because I was always still doing my flea market. I love people, even the buttholes, right? Because I can be one at a time or two, and and thank you for forgiveness, Heavenly Father. He sat with him. That's he just. But the thing is it's difficult to. Faith can be a hard thing to to stand out on at times. You just got to do it repeatedly enough, and and I get it. I'm not trying to push you, sweetheart. If I like I said, if I read into that, then I read into it wrong, and then read into it right later. See, that's how it works sometimes, and and it can just I could just give up and say, you know what, this just isn't worth it. You know, you love me, and you're just gonna have to just, you know, get over it. But I know better, so I'll be, I'll listen, and uh, I'll listen. I'll just keep listening, because listen to your heart. Um, so yeah, I was starting to get a little farm going. I bought 3 cows. Uh, my neighbor, the Mexican guy, he was starting not to like me too much because I was starting to watch a program that, as it were, a miracle would have, was playing on a on a TV that was not supposed to receive any reception because we had just went to digital from analog, and this little rabbit ear TV uh, just was started playing in my garden I was starting to establish. And I had still made many trips up and down from people that had uh, excessive, just to keep everybody rolling for the next season, keep my number on speed dial. I just, you know, and I just told him this isn't mine. You know, it's pretty close. I was kind of quality control, making sure, because there was a lot of stuff that, you know, you'd offend people if you're like, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't use that because, you know, these are my people. So I just kept things rolling. I bought the Pinot also while we were up there. Some cows. Let's see what else. Let's see. I don't want to too. Those pigs. Those pigs that I ended up going around. I found. You know, I was gonna give up. This is why you don't. I was gonna do like my dad taught me. Everybody's like, nope, can't give you your garbage, you know, in case somebody eats it. I said, but I'm not going to eat it. But yet, I heard his voice go, but yet you're digging in the trash can over here for boxes of chocolate and stuff like this. And I said, but it's fun. It's all good stuff. It's going to waste. I don't waste anything. Of course, and I'm not a clean. I'm a clean freak, so I don't have any. I don't. It's the weirdest thing. Of course, I'm not a mommy dearest clean. It's you'll have to see. It's really, I think it's beautiful. It's just a fine right there. I mean, boxes of brand new chocolate that's only going to be out of, it's going to be out in another week, but they got to bring in some more and have room, so they throw it away. I understand. They don't want anybody getting sick, and I get it. I get that. So I couldn't get anybody's garbage, is my point. It was different back in the day. We're picking through butter tabs. Well, and we're still going to Lily's, all you can eat. Speaking of butter tabs and Royal Fork, which is, you know, your country buffet and Golden Corral and all that happy stuff. Um, so there's, and I understand why now they have those. I mean, people make it to where there's got to be, not all rules are good rules, but why we have what we have. That's why we can't defund the police, even though there's, you know, work for a real evil satanic system and are being used. Who's gonna, you know, who are the people that can't defend themselves going to call? So yeah, that would be real stupid. Of course, you know, he throws that one out there because of course it's just, he's so, God, I'd like to. Soon enough, he's had plenty of opportunities. I don't get it. So now, but now I got it. So it's gonna be pretty good, and nobody's gonna go away hurting. Well, you know, for the most part. So this chicken, I got this Bible, and I'm not getting along with my neighbor over here. My son's getting along great with these neighbors here. These two black kids. They're half black, half white. Their mom's white German lady, and divorced. Is raising her children, and the you know, their Reading is kind of there. There's not a lot of, very few blacks at that time, and kind of real snooty. But my son wasn't raised like that, so he treated him really nice, and Tawana baked them all a cake, and they thought that was just absolutely. So we got at least along with one set of our neighbors, and then the other, because like I said, there was acreage separating us, and it's, you know, I tried to get along with all my neighbors, but it just didn't always. You know how it is. That's why the Lord says, love, you know, seek me with all your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. Because if you can do those two, if you can do those two, you got the other eight just completely wrapped right on up. You can't. You're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to mess that cake up at all. It don't matter. There's so. Um, I ended up last place. I was led to go to one last place. It was the Waffle House, I believe it was, right by the tractor deal on right there, not very far from the river. It was the last place. She's like, "Look, you can't. You heard what they said," and I'm like, "I got one more place, one more place. This last, this is it." And I went there, and they might as well have just, you know, made me. But they did make me breakfast, actually, pretty much. This lady, she says, "Oh yeah, here, hold on." She grabs me by my arm. She says, "Here, I'm gonna show you. You're gonna meet this guy." She tells the dishwasher, "Okay, here's what's happening." She said just like this: "This man here, Roy, this is Roy. Roy, this is so and so. Roy here is going to be coming in now. He's going to be coming in on such and such days to get that garbage can. You're going to sort all that stuff. You're going to separate that. You're going to get two cans." This is what she's telling him. "You're going to get two cans and you're going to separate the paper for him, and you're going to pull that out, and he's going to he just leave that back there." And she says, "Just bring that back." I said, "Well, I'll just take one and just dump." She goes, "Whatever you want. It might be heavy. Just bring it back." She was right. These pigs ate better. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, these pigs ate better. If I was homeless and I was starving, there was everything you could think of from a Waffle House, right? Waffles and bacon and eggs and hash browns and omelets and all kinds of happy-go-lucky stuff. Uh, I wouldn't want to eat it, but if you were, like, let's say, oh, I won't do it. But I really enjoy watching old Ovens and Fowler. But yeah, so I take this garbage. Oh, these pigs are growing. These are little pigs, and I'm only getting two stations now. These plants are growing. I'm out there at night, because I sleep outside. I don't like being under a roof if I can help it. Of course, I am in here, but out there, why would I be? I was able to check out the star. It's just beautiful. So I stayed out a lot, even when I first got there and was at Jerry's, and I like being outside. I'd sleep on his son Skylar's trampoline and wake up to them bowing at the road as she's going to pick him up. She'd have to get out. All rise. She'd say, "Okay, you can rise now," and they'd say, "Your Royal Highness," and it was funny because he liked her. Oh, he liked her a lot. He liked her a lot. She just didn't put up with any crap. She's no, she owned her own daycare there. Used to bring us the stuff that the kids didn't eat, the food when I lived up there. Real good food because she'd make it. But I told you that fire went right over her, little Donna. When I hear Donna Carico, that's what I think of, and I need to get on there. See, I need to get to meeting these people. I will soon. Oh, it's on like Donkey Kong. It's happening. Don't matter about any. We don't have any. There's not our love or any differences ain't gonna separate our love. We're gonna get this thing's rolling, and just like that dating stuff. Not trying to get anybody, but that's important. That a good, clean dating um, gathering, environment is what really needs to take place, because there's just so much. It's all lust and just crap. So no. So yeah, and so many people, and once that union, and again, if you're not led to do that, then don't. The Lord's got you, and there all that feeling, you're getting all that. Nobody's going to be left without. That's part of our gift. We just got a taste of it now. So for those of you that have are basically, I don't know, just you've already wed yourself with the groom of eternal bliss. then you're already you'll just it's just a matter of being adorned completely in righteousness with that linen, which is seamless, by the way. Oh, I've seen it. There's no seam. It's like it's just off one this beautiful loom. It just and it's gonna be custom. It's gonna fit so nice. Ugh, there ain't no naked. We're gonna be clothed in righteousness. Oh, righteousness. What a beautiful thing. So this chicken Rosie. Okay, let's see. Where did I? Oh, let me brush up on the deal. I don't want to hop too much, if I can help it. Uh, Two programs. Speaking of lust, look at I didn't even try to do this. What a blessing! Thank you, Heavenly Father, Abba Yahweh. What a blessing! I got two channels, and like I said, it went. There was no airways. Went to digital. And I checked. I looked around. This TV that was always that 24 hours played this, which was new to me, this 3ABN. Now I had started becoming a Sabbath keeper because of Jerry, but he wasn't an Adventist. He's just a Sabbath keeper. He looked like a big old. He was like I said. He retired off the oil rigs up there. He come up, and I think he was had inherited all those acreage up on the mountain to, you know, to heal himself from cancer. But he was from down New Orleans, where my son's at right now. They're not going on that tuna boat. I talked to him yesterday. He's not. They got to come back. He just built a car, a Toyota, like a Drift, and he just got done rebuilding the deal in between his works and stuff. And he's got to get that to the shop and get back up here and help these, my them move when they're ready. Tawana said yesterday she's not in no big hurry right this second within the next few months because taxes are coming in, the good Lord willing. But anyway, so let's see where I got off track. So yeah, two deals were playing. Only two things. That dang like that night train that but it was not night train that soul train. It was that beach party that like that beach dance. It was all just lustful Jack Happy, spanking Frank stuff that men would just absolutely reduce their little whittled ass self right down to having. They're just writing up their own demise, and the angels are reporting everything that's going on, and the Lord's going, "Are you serious?" And they're like, "Yep, it's all being written in the book." Of course, everything that's not being completely repented over, heartfelt, not God, if you just get me out of this one. How many times have I said that, right? If you just get me out of this one, and he's like, okay, well, I've heard this one before. But, um, so, that's it. And I was like, what's this 3ABN? Singing songs. So this Danny Shelton, I'm like, oh, that's weird. He's got my initials. Then it's Hal Steenson, his wife. I was like, wow, that's weird. That's got my last name. It's kind of weird. Nothing to it, probably. All right. As I'm saying this, I'm hearing this. Oh, son, how long? How long is it going to take you, right? And I had two choices, out there by myself at night, hating the fact that I'm in a relationship that's completely dysfunctional, and I'm just absolutely so angry because my heart's in the right place, but I'm so broken I don't know enough to get the hell away. And I'm the candy business now is I'm starting to get it rolling, and we're just starting to make. We hadn't even started candy bars or any stuff like that. We're doing simple stuff, like Laffy Taffy and peanut brittle and but I was being cured from the cancer. So my motto was I wanted to help people. It was all whatever you could think of, we could create. And so that was slowly going as I had the little Jack Happy free will fuel that I could go ahead and stumble to occasionally, and feel real guilty instantly and wonder what the hell. And he's like, you don't know that this is a battle between, it's a war, the spirit of your flesh with the spirit of what you just asked into your body. You're the body of the Holy Spirit or something, son, aren't you? A vessel, a conduit, a vehicle, an instrument. And this is what I hear. Is this what I'm hearing? This, it horrifies me. It horrifies me. This is a gift. This sensation that is supposed to be shared, that I allowed you to have, and y'all have made it a god. And look, and that's why you're when you're not left felt feeling ashamed of that level, you've been brandified. You see, now there's I don't know, it's a case by case deal. But like I said, when those two join together as one flesh, I know it's an instant quenching of the Holy Spirit. That I know for a fact. He made that real clear to me. That's why I don't mess around. That's why I don't go and mess around, because I'm horny and I want to just go and she'll just get over it, because she would, just because she's like, well, why not? I know I'm not gonna, right? So we don't roll like that, because I love her more than she probably does herself. And so, and my heavenly creator, which I know better. You see, I know better more today than I ever did. And so that's how we just keep rolling. That's He says, okay, oh, you want to go ahead and just go ahead and exercise a little faith like that. Boy, that was a real thin branch you stepped out on that time. That would have left a big mark. Instead, here's some that just solidifies your seal. You're good. You're good. There's nothing we can do. That's what that means, to work our way to heaven. There ain't nothing you can do. Nothing. When people that try and try and try, like those a little Jojo, little circus, they're just those. That's what the Lord talks about, being a busybody. Also, those are the ones. Their hearts aren't in it. They're not. There's a difference in motivating yourself and standing out in faith, and there's another, just being a clanging chime, just wanting to be heard. They're up there, they're praying, they're all these long drawn out prayers. And no offense with the people that do there's some beautiful long drawn out prayers that their hearts are in the right, and now you can feel the Spirit moving. But if you don't have a relationship, you won't know if they're those or something. Like I didn't I at Bethel, I'm watching these three beautiful women basically have sex, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, is anybody seeing what I'm seeing here? It was the craziest thing I'd ever seen, and I didn't understand why I was seeing it. And then that guy, that native dude, walking up and down, and he was like a reptile. I didn't understand, and the Lord was allowing me to see this, but not understand why, because I wouldn't have been able to. I might have ran from the. I might have ended up being met with a big old fish. I would have been old. So it just, because I already cried out. I cried out so much. I said, God, please just even protect me from myself, because I know what I want right now, and I don't ever want to go back on it. I know what's right. I know you know what's right, and I know that much is true. And so that's all. I want you to seek my heart out. I want you to expose anything that I need to work on, so that I don't ever trip anybody up. And I want to, from this day forward, feel, sympathize, empathize, remorse, feel everybody's and anybody's pain that you lead me to. I want all your gifts on high, so that I can just usher in your beloved renewal. And so that's what's happening. And so anyway, I had two choices to watch, and it was the craziest thing, because my son's like, I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, Dad, no, there's no way that that's supposed to be happening. And I says, okay, so I started watching solely just 3ABN. Matter of fact, it played out in that garden, and those plants grew like you wouldn't believe. And that's where I got God created us with a musical mind. I forgot her name. I used to know all their names, just like Wintley Phipps. I remember his name. Big, beautiful, giant, booming voice of a man. Beautiful. That song, "Freedom Flood." When I wrote, when the Lord scribed that through me, and I was able to utter that beautiful, that harmonious, I just that song for my father. I thought of him. I thought of him and his voice and how beautiful that would be. And so years, well, right before I turned myself in, I talked to somebody. I actually talked to Hal. I talked to Hal Steenson. And before that, because I believe that the lady, she asked me, do I want to come on your family? Would you be willing to come on 3ABN and tell your story? Because I told them I had wrote a book or written a book, whatever it is. And that you guys are part of it. And even though I'm not Adventist, I figured, like with Shelley Quinn and all them, she's an ex-addict and she brings on people that probably don't necessarily have exactly their hold their exact entire points of view. Plus there's those rogue Adventists, they do they're like anyone else. Um, Still have me on, even though I'm not an Adventist or even been baptized into their congregation. So yeah, I actually spoke to him and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I didn't want to overdo it. Go, man, I remember I watched you for, well, gosh, let's see, a couple of years at least. It's a while, we were on God's way, not quite a year, I don't think, and not quite so not quite 2 years, not quite, but everything was starting to line right up. Pigs were growing. I had that big Bible on the mantle, this was a mobile home, big, huge, like a triple wide, huge mobile. The pastor, like I said, not the pastor, the whatever he is, I don't know, the old Mexican dude that I thought we were going to get along fine. And then come to find out he was also hearing this from there, from the coming, because I would play it 24 hours. I would play it, and he didn't like the fact that I was growing weed. Come to find out, he didn't like the fact that I was a Sabbath keeper. Thought I was a 3AB. Well, I was a 3ABNer at Adventist, which I started going to the church and to want to start making vegetarian food because I was like, wow, this is amazing because I start feeling better. And so I was like, there's something to this, and I started looking into that Loma Linda and Kellogg and how they had a little thing going on, not a sexual thing, but him and Mrs. White, just all these little things. Even though I don't agree on all, don't get me wrong, I'm not, but so many good points. It's my heart just it literally is just leaping right now. So the pigs are growing. We're still going to Lily's. Just starting to, learn. I'm still learning about all this, about what the Lord is having me receive. And he's not forcing a lot on me. I noticed that he wasn't forcing a lot, but he was wanting me to continue to move forward in my own stubborn, denial. And oh, and by the way, guess who drove down the drive? Guess who drove down the drive? As my judge and witness, that little girl on that little pink scooter with her little pink little hard hat. Just drove right on down there. Her and Cecilia became just like two little peas in a pod. She come to find out she just lived right around the corner. She just drive up and down that little, yeah, you never want your children to do that around here. Jeez, weirdos. Unless of course you strapped him in with a little subcompact and you just say, hey baby, you just go out, you just go ahead and you come back and we'll go ahead and we'll call the law and have them. That's what we need to call them. Have them come and clean up the mess. God, watch the violent crime. Well, you remember when I told my daughter in there when I was in prison, you watch the violent crime drop. Just watch it drop. Just what kind of felon says stuff like that? I'll tell you, the kind of felon that's eventually going to have all his rights restored. That's right. That's right. You people are fools. You have no clue. Not even a little bit. You have no clue. So, more responsible than the way majority of you fools. Way. You guys, you might as well just. Of course, they're like the old crazy one. They've been shining that one. God, we've been waiting for years just to eat one. Well, I wouldn't recommend that. But I mean, where you going anyway? You might as well just. So, because that's you're going to be eating the wiener anyway. It's gonna be a sad, sad state of affairs. Just a real, real rude awakening. It is. So this chicken, Rosie, is my judge and witness. Jumps through our huge, huge play, one of the biggest mobiles I've seen. Jumps through our laundry room window. I keep the windows open all the time. That's why I said when we went out to feed the deal and we had maggots on her, takes that fat just only that. We didn't have no screens on our windows. I didn't keep any. I just hung fly strips and just dealt with it. And would jump through our window and lay an egg in a little tiny ramekin, a little custard ramekin, little Pyrex ramekin that Tawana and we would use to measure out our detergent for her series. One out of so many times that chicken missed one time. One time. Bueller. One time that chicken missed. Every morning almost. That chicken, well, not every morning, but every morning that she did jump up into that window, which was quite frequently, she would lay an egg in that that custard dish. She would jump down, walk through the because I'd leave my screen door open. I wouldn't let him crap all over. None of that stuff. This is before because the cats that he ended up bringing us. One, I don't know what happened to one, and then the other one, it's my dogs, which I'll bring up in a minute when I went and rescued from Steve's the the fighting puppy mill thing. Ended up getting the one. So the chicken would go through the house, walk through the house, jump up onto the old mobiles where they had the well on ours it was a sliding glass door was here and then it had the like a shelf with like almost like a two end china cabinet type things, then a mirror, the old 60s just kind of greenish or yellowish, the just real bad taste of decoration type. It hadn't been remodeled, and that's exactly where this Bible was on that, and it would jump up onto that mirrored. It would, and I called it Rosie, the Bible thumping chicken. I wish I would have, if I would have gotten my brother Forrest had given me when I went up with a few more runs, because the meeting point was usually at his place. He gave me a nice camera that also did. That's where took most of the pictures for the stuff that is on my Facebook that my daughter and son helped me with. Because otherwise I wouldn't have ever done any of that. I don't care about stuff like that. Except now I do it the way to communicate. Um, but don't tarry. Um, so she would like sharpen her beak on that, just a couple, three swipes or so, and jump down and go hop right down the stairs, right down out the sliding glass door. Serious, my daughter's here right now. They named her, and they named her Rosie because I had an Oscar when I was in Pacific Algona, but where Nadine Wallace, the one that would go through my trash can, the probation officer. I had those fish tanks there. We had that Rosie, and so so that we'd let the girls name the stuff. But yeah, I ended up answering an ad at the Clear Creek, right there off the reservation, Win 2 reservation, right by Clear Creek. We used to get gold out of there. Yeah, on hot days down there, 110-degree days, you go down and everybody's down at the creek. And there was an ad, and I went up on my way like it was on our way to the I get them about ready. Okay, just let me know how long. Why? Okay, thank you, hon. Why 30 minutes? Why Rika or Eureka? The Hemp Fest. I get those two mixed up, but it was like you had to go up onto the Siskiyous a little bit and then head down towards. It's in Humboldt County, I believe, still. Anyway, that's where this guy Steve, whom I got to know quite well because I started salvaging quite a few of that litter. I ended up driving all the way up. Took me a while after I called the guy and I was like, well, why the heck would you be posting this all the way down here? But either way, I found out later. So I drive up there. He says, oh, they're all over there in the barn. And he had one of the pups, and his name was Butter Boy. And he pulled Bud out of the litter, and the mom was also there. She was looking at me a little bit crazy. She didn't like people too much, and I could tell, but she didn't growl at me. She just you could tell she wasn't a people person. So I went to the barn. He had a bunch of acreage out in the middle of nowhere, and I went to the barn, and there was just a bag of food just thrown in there on the dirty barn floor, a bunch of crap everywhere, and these dogs, they were just wanting out of there. They just wanted out of there. Just little tiny little pups. Just, ay, 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 just so I just reached down. I just grabbed one. I just grabbed one and took him home, and then so the pups were, I would say, already they were pretty old. There was only maybe four when I went up there left in that litter. He said she had quite a few, which just was heart wrenching because how many were left and how big those little puppies were when I got whom we named Bubba, because Cecilia used to call Donnie Bubba. So she named him Bubba. And so Bubba and baby girl started acting real funny. And I thought they had parvo because they were dying. That's what was happening. And crap and blood that just, I don't even want to describe it. It was bad news. They were dying. They were rotting away. And they kept looking at me like, "Daddy, what's wrong with me?" Or like help me. And I couldn't. It was tearing me apart. I didn't know what to do. Um, I prayed and prayed and prayed, and so had my daughter and them look stuff up, and it looks like parvo. So I went down to the feed store because I had those three cows at that point, just three, and I got some. I shot them all, gave them all shots. I gave them a double dose. They said they can't get parvo twice, so I gave them a double dose. And some months had gone by, and matter of fact, let's see. There's so much that went on God's way. I want to try to get you guys involved because some of the craziest stuff happened. Amazing stuff. Um, lies comes in play. I come into the realization I wasn't going to eat pork no more, and these two were getting pretty big. I could barely even pick them up. They were like my pets now, and I wasn't gonna be able to kill them. So, and my cows, I would have just ended up, I would have been able to probably take them out, maybe, because it's hard once I feed something. It's hard for me. So, um, and then we'll get back to the butter and Bubba and Baby Girl and Buster Brownie boy, and because I don't want to, I want to make sure I weave in these intricate little fabric, these threads of knowledge and substance on our journey. I will say that I've had a lot of joy and peace there, though, and I learned a lot there, and that miracle story with Danny and his brother, that three phase power and all that. It was blowing my socks off, right? But I just wasn't able to retain it all. I wasn't able to appreciate because I was still living. I was living a carnal life. The Lord had been trying so hard to get a hold of me. There was work to be done and mountains to move, and I was, I wasn't, I wasn't picking up the shovel. I was being afraid. That's what I was. I wasn't. My fear was my faith was being killed by fear. Really, that's what was happening, and I just didn't realize it because I'm not afraid of anything. Well, no, that's not true. We're all afraid of something. Um, it just depends on your perspective, and so that truth uh, makes you free, and there's a healthy fear um, that one has for his bride and his children, and that's what we're becoming. Really, it's a love story. It really is. You notice how when Yeshua came, he came as a lamb, but he's returning as a lion through us. Amen. Becoming, right? You notice that? He says he's coming to bring division. Well, why would love come to bring division? Well, it's going to happen. And I'm going to tell you, he said, who is my mother? Who is my brother? I'm going to tell you why and how it's going to happen. Mother will turn against, sister, aunt, uncle, fathers, sons, uncles, brothers. They will turn. Not all of them, but a lot of them in his name. You know why? Because people are going to realize that this is a battle. It's a spiritual war between the flesh, which we're all going to get our cake and eat it too, and our in the spirit in which we want to uh, usher in and be a good host of, so that we could to not only have our cake and eat it too, just for lack of a better term, just in layman's terms, and have our organic ice cream anytime we want because we're responsible enough not to just go be gluttons of it because that's what we decided to do now and believe a lie. So, um, yeah, it's I kind of got a little bit sidetracked to be honest with you guys, but in a train of thought, it happens. It happens. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. You leave the world behind. You're digging for gold. I can't. I never did like Foreigner. Never. I never did. I don't know. Just like I love Ted and Charmaine. I love them. I just never cared too much for the. Just that's just it. So I'm not gonna eat the pigs. They're getting pretty big. I put an ad, and lo and behold, who answers that ad? Is the two the my friends from Lily's. They come down. They're laughing at me. I'm laughing at them as I'm letting them in the gate and down the road. And they're like, "Man," I'm like, "Oh man, I won't be going to eat there." I'm done eating the pork anyway. I'd still go there and I'd eat, because I like the sushi and stuff. They had all you can eat. Of course, like I said, I get to know you pull back the curtain there, and they're like, they're not eating the same thing they're serving us. Same with the Indians. Oh man, I picked that one up a long time ago. I'm no fool. I had the best doctor Pierce County, and arguably, if you, as far as I'm concerned, in the country, her and her husband. I don't care if they bump their head or not. I'm still love them. That's between them and the good Lord. But and they let me know too. They let me know just how well I and by offering me a job as a. But now I'm getting completely way too far ahead of myself. But I've already spoiler alerted that a little bit. So they come in with a big cage. They're like, those aren't going to fit. My dog now that snapped out of it, Bubba, he gets in. He's rapidly grown. They were already probably 7, 8 months. They were getting pretty good sized pups. He gets into the because I'm trying to grab one of the pigs to stuff him in the cage because they're not long to go, and I'm literally heartbroken. I can't believe it. I'm realizing now what's actually going to be taking place here with my pets. Now that they've become my pets or my family, now I've been feeding them, and they know me. I go in there and they don't mess with me. They get out of my way, and I scratch them on. I made a big mud hole for them in there, and I made sure it was full. They loved old daddy. They loved me. I loved them. So I was had to, and so anyway, Bubba gets in there and they look at each other. And they go, yeah, yeah. And I said, get out of there. I said, are you serious? I'm serious. I'm serious now. I'm not kidding you. I don't know if they were. Yes, I do know they weren't kidding. I cannot believe. I can't believe what had taken place. I literally just lost all of any respect that I had at all. Absolutely was horrified. Of course, we never went and ate there again. But it just, I almost just shot out this real rude comment. But I had to get him the hell off my property. So I think that's 5. That's not, no, sweetie. That's not its cousin. So down, off they went, and my dogs, they get poisoned again. Now I didn't know it was poison. I thought it was. This time, Bubba dies. I wake up with Cecilia losing it, and he was in the tub, which is really all. Or maybe you guys, if you care to, maybe you don't know, or maybe it's just something that I'm gonna find out. We'll find out soon enough, because we're all gonna know everything. He was in the tub, and I buried him. So I called Steve. I went back there. I called him. He said, "Yep, I got 2 of them here. You can have. You got to tip. But if you take," I said, "I just need one. That's all I want. I need one." Baby girl. She pulled out of it. She didn't have it as bad. Something. She was a smart one though. She was that boxer. She's a smart one. She's part boxer. She's not. She wasn't dumb. She was the runt, the little one. Someone burnt her with a cigarette. God. Oh Jesus. Let you watch. You'll see. You're all gonna see, and it's gonna. And don't worry, it's not gonna horrify you, because you're gonna understand. You're gonna be like, well, this is this is what said was gonna happen, and there's that thrush right there. Seriously, that it's right there under my truck. This bird right here that I never even knew existed, which they say is in the robin family. I just thought they had. There it is, right there. There's 2 of them that live in that hedge. So I went up, and he was giving me Bud, his dog. He said, yeah, he finally told me what was going on. He said, the mom's in heat, and it's a bloodbath around here. And I said, what? The mom's in heat and it's a bloodbath around here? What are these 2? These are pups. And then it hit me. This guy they're probably inbred, man. What's going on, man? This is a nightmare. You people, and this right here, and then see, this is what makes it difficult. You know, you got people that say, well, I heard. And like I said, that three non blondes, that one non blonde, had nothing to do with you, Millie. Absolutely nothing to do. But God, your hair was absolutely. When I said, oh my OMG, I mean, oh my goodness. Your hair was absolutely stunning. But you're stunning. I was poking at her, and I've gotten over it already. Of course, the Lord let me know, don't worry, they're not going to want to poke at you too much. But hopefully they're repented and they're doing what they should be doing. That was the key. That was the goal. But that was that one because she choreographed the whole thing, and then he just being a dumbass, in his own sin. Excuse me, that was six. In his own sin and doesn't even know what he has himself, kind of like Ding Dong from Sean's Outdoor Adventures. He's an idiot. You know, his wife. He's got poor thing up there. God, people, they're just sad, sad. And see, now I know why the Lord had me nip you at the bud. He said, "Now you took what you can use. Now get out of there." I always wondered. I always wondered. Yeah, it kind of started to creep me out when he was doing that down in his basement. But I'd do that too. I'd flesh out a deer just because I need to make something or do something with it, if I needed to. But no, that was the day, and then that little deal at the whiteboard there when he was that had to. But so yeah, there I get now I get Bud. Now he's giving me his dog Bud and Buster because they're Bud and who I named Buster Brown. They're going at it because he doesn't have him he's too big to be in the barn now. They're all gone. They're all gone. Oh no! What ended up happening? Here's what happened. That was one in the litter. Buster was. That was one in the litter. That's right. That's his name. His name, I believe, was already named. That's right, Buster. Yeah, that's right. I'll have to ask Cecilia. I'm pretty sure he was salvaged by the Humane Society in Reading. They were going to put him down because one of Steve's girlfriends that somebody he was having relations with down in Reading took one of the pups and it killed a dog. It killed one of the neighbor's dogs. Got out and killed it was still young. Wasn't even a year old. So instead of putting the dog down, the humane said because a lot of good pits there, isn't that nice? A lot of good, and they knew it. Even the humane says they had Buster go through obedience school, and that dog stopped, dropped, and rolled. But unfortunately, it already had the taste blood. So anyway, she got scared and they returned the dog to her and he on one of his trips down there brought the dog back and the mom went into heat. Bud and his sibling Buster were going at it. Nightmare. I come to I was about to find out exactly what the reason why he gave those two away. So I go get them. I go up and I get them, and they're starting out. They're already the Buster's already starting to growl, and I'm in the front seat, and I've got one of Tawana's coworkers. I forgot. I had his name for a minute. It's important. I grew for him. I'm learn you can't you try to do something nice for people and I honestly and they'll stab you in the back almost every single time. So that's why they say don't put your faith in people because they're going to let you down. If you give them that kind of rope, now God forbid I will never do that to anybody. You trust is earned, but never put your faith in people. I try so hard to find the best in people, and I let Brandon, that was his name, I let Brandon and Angel is awesome. And I'm what could have been there, but you don't feel like you're. This guy was cheating on her and everything. Brought him in because Tawana hired him. Oh, please grow for him, this and that. Brought him in all this. And they are trying to rip me off at night when everything was in full bloom. And I knew. And I told him, I said, man, you think okay, I gotta go. Gotta go take so I love you guys. I'll wrap up God's way in no time short because there's so much that went on there. Oh my gosh. This is where I first realized that I'd been in California before. Because Ted, I just want to leave you with this one. Ted and Pat, the truck driver, you remember Ted was adopted, Ted Thurman from the Lopez's for whatever reason, but he was from California. And his first wife, Lester and Bonnie and all that. Well, when she got me out, this is right before Bobby nasty old Brotherson took me for his last little deal because of the okay, we're leaving right now. The my my beloved Bonnie, the other Bonnie, we stopped. That's where I was. It was 4th of July, and we stopped there at his mom's before we went down to Concord. I'm not Concord. Yeah, Concord. And then they went off. That's where I went to Rico's, and she took me out to party and stuff like that. She's my big sister. And oh, it's gonna blow you away when I tell you how this all years later. Had no idea it was Anderson. Had no idea. I just remember a big peach tree. I was fascinated that there was peaches. They were laughing at me. These two girls. They were like laughing, and I was fascinated that there was black widows, and it was just kind of like the thing when I was in Florida and I was watching those little lizards, and the worker was laughing at me, going, "No, it's just stuff that that people take for granted. It's fun watching you be amused at and genuinely really being amused at, I was like, but they're everywhere. And she's like, oh yeah, they're all over here. Wait till you see the geckos. And sure enough, that night there was a gecko up by the light. And I go, oh wow, and it is a gecko. And I'd never seen one. It was just okay, I gotta go. She said, Dad, we gotta go. I love you guys. And I'll a matter of fact, I'll come back and run another couple hours, the good Lord willing. A lot of good things are happening. And again, I apologize if I read into that. If I didn't, then again, it's all is well. But my heart's in the right spot, and I love you, Millie Weaver. I hope that. But again, I'll bow out, and it's just see, I'm willing to take that to be vulnerable and take that and let everybody know, because I trust our Heavenly Father, and good things are going to become of this either way. Either way, when you got a heart that's in the right spot, there's no way we can go wrong. There's no way. There's no way they can sit and try to turn it around. There ain't nothing foul about it. And I just want you to know, never have I done that to you ever. God is my judge and went, now that's the last time I'll do that. Never like that. Always was here when the Lord said, go ahead. So if I'm reading that correctly, then we can't do that no more, because I am not going to offend. We can't do that. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I kind of think I am. But anyway, I love you. Have a good day. God bless. I'll be back later. I'll be back later. God willing.